see them pumping that product. I mean, that's going to be out on HBO, which is also owned by Warner Media, who owns DC. So it's all going to become. And here's what I foresee. We've talked about this before. That evolution that's got to happen. They also own Crunchyroll, which is where you can watch a lot of anime. It's a subscription service.
I'm familiar. Yeah.
So what I see is that you'll have, Warner Media being your base product. You can, hey, you're already a, Warner Media subscriber for, a few more dollars, you can get DC direct.
Oh, I remember what you
with
said.
With a few more dollars, you can get HBO.
Yeah.
With a few more dollars, you can suck our dicks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you get these extra 4
But
channels.
I think Disney's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
The Disney Pass,
We'll
Hulu, we'll see what happens.
And
But I
then for an
really
extra
feel like
few
that's
bucks,
going to be a thing.
Yeah, like so for 5-10 more bucks, you can have ESPN added on there, and
Right.
for 20 more bucks,
ESPN also owned by Disney.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Everything's owned by Disney, which is being bought by AT&T.
Well, and that's I wish I remember the.
Yeah.
I wish I remember the author's name. I was just watching something about an author who had wrote a book about that's what's wrong with like our economy right now. The capitalism isn't working. It's all skewed to like a monopoly type of situation.
Well, and that's why you have stuff like back in the day, like when they broke AT&T up originally, they broke it up into smaller companies. And then, eventually they'll do that again if it becomes a monopoly.
Hopefully.
But the problem is they won't because it's not a monopoly. Right now,
it's
it's
not called that.
basically a duopoly of those kind of things with Netflix in there as well. So now you at least have that competition. So you're not going to, just the economics of it say that it's okay.
Right.
But that's hyper-capitalism,
Right.
unfortunately. And now we have a political show. Go, team.
Wait a minute.
No, I was with you, dude. I was with you
digress.
100%. I was going down the hill.
We digress.
That's a different episode.
TV
It's a
shows,
different episode.
yeah. Unfortunately, Swamp Thing
TV
and
shows,
Happy were
yeah,
canceled.
that sucks. Comic books coming out. Again, we've really gone over. I haven't seen anything really of note.
Silver Surfer Black.
Yeah, which we talked about. Deceased, which we talk about. And I did check that out. Looks pretty cool. I'm past the zombies. Didn't DC just have a zombie thing a few years back? I mean, I'm cool.
There was Blackest Night.
Right.
The
but
Deceased one wasn't a bad comic book.
That was
No,
10
I'm
10
not saying
years
it
ago.
is. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just zombied out myself.
Yeah,
I'm
me
cool
too.
on that.
It was kind of a fun, quick read, and it's even sold enough that they're going to make another one shot.
I saw that.
Constantine. But sticking with DC, I know that something cool. I know I talked about it last time a little bit. Tom King's going to be writing the Batman Catwoman series.
Yeah.
I heard that he's going to. Well, he posted on Twitter, an image of the Phantasm. If you're familiar with Mask of the Phantasm. Now, the Phantasm has never been brought into DC continuity like Harley Quinn had.
Right.
So
Cartoon only.
You're right.
Just made for that movie.
Yep. So maybe that character could be coming into the Tom King Batman Catwoman series.
Yep. And here's the thing: is to a lot of people, that is one of like the top 2 or 3 Batman
Of
movies
all
Of all time.
Yeah, it holds up, dude.
And it's good. It's
Yeah.
good.
It's good.
It's good.
To segue, I guess, from that, another DC, I heard they're bringing back Legion of Superheroes. It's going to be 2 issues called Legion of Superheroes Millennium.
Sorry.
Legion of Superheroes Millennium. Brian Bendis. Ryan Sook is going to be doing the art, and Jim Lee's going to be doing the art. And some other artists are doing the one-shots, and then it might spin out into a new Legion of Superheroes story in September.
I'm down with Jim Lee doing anything. I've been a fan for a long, long time.
There's a really cool Legion story by Mark Waid. That run, it eventually morphed into Supergirl in the Legion of Superheroes, to play off Superman and the Legion of Superheroes.
We were talking about that earlier because I was telling you about the Spectre too.
Yeah,
because I mean, since I've been trying to catch up a little bit and pick different series, and I was telling both of you guys about how much I like that series.
Yeah,
from '92.
Yeah,
it's just such a, I don't know, it's got a crazy tone. The art is really, really great in it. It's very violent. Like as the issues go on, he just gets meaner and meaner and meaner. And of course, if you know the story of the Spectre, it's kind of an odd choice, for such a giant creature, spirit, that the wrath of God, pretty much.
Right.
And he really embodies that in these comics. And I haven't read any of the other ones, but I really like it. I really, really, really like it, and I want to get through all of them here pretty soon. That and some Lobo, but
Lobo.
Yeah.
Lobo's just fun.
Lobo's fun. Lobo's some crazy shit. Know any new records coming out, guys? Anything as far as like music wise?
No, I picked up the Brooklyn Boys while I was in New York.
Nice.
On the streets.
Nice.
On the streets, if you will.
Well,
it wasn't that great. Whatever. Sorry, Brooklyn boys.
It turned 25 this week, I think, or these coming up weeks. Is Stone Temple Pilots Purple.
Really?
Yeah.
What a great album.
Yes. 25 years old. The Crow soundtrack is 25 years old.
I knew that.
So they both came out the same year, and it was such a big record. And we've talked about Stone Temple Pilots forever. I mean, and those records. Yeah. I was going to say that, but then I was like, no.
We weren't nauseated.
Yeah, I was nauseated by it.
Another one that's turning 20 years is Sigur Rós. They have an album. They have an album called their second album is a new beginning or a good beginning. I can't say it. It's on Icelandic. They're in Icelandic. The band is Sigur Rós.
Okay, just making sure.
Sigur Rós. They're Icelandic.
Just double checking.
I can't really say the name of the album, but it's pronounced Ágætis Bjarnarvon. So I don't know.
Sounds like something I'm not going to listen to. Perfect.
It's pretty cool. I don't know any of the words, but I've been listening to this. I mean, I know the words, but it's in another.
To this Vietnamese rap for a long time.
it's in another language, and I've had this album for a long time, not for 20 years, but yeah.
Well, yeah,
right on, man. Sigur Rós, they're a good band.
Well,
check them out.
I think we've kind of covered everything we really wanted to cover this week.
Real quick, before I know we're going to hit a mixtape here pretty quick. Dark Phoenix didn't do so well.
Ooh, and I saw it.
I heard great things about it.
It's not bad. Dark Phoenix is not a bad movie. I feel that if you go in expecting one thing that everyone's been like kind of conditioned to after the last, we'll just say 5 years of comic book movies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
there's a certain.
I think you should have an expectation based on Fox movies.
Yeah.
And then that's okay. They made some good ones. Logan was fucking amazing, dude.
First Class was great.
I
really like First Class.
Absolutely. So if you go in with the expectation of those movies, how would you range it? I mean, is it?
I guess that's personal taste.
Yeah, of course. This is opinion podcast.
It's better than The Last Stand.
Yeah, of course. Anything's better than The Last Stand.
I guess it would be like on
even
par.
Even the cartoon is better than The Last Stand.
I guess I like Apocalypse better than The Last Stand, so I guess it'd probably be like on par with X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
It's like not as good as say the first X-Men or the second X-Men movie, but it was a satisfying conclusion. It was, I would say, quick and to the point. The action scenes, which I'm and this might hurt it now because I know that the third act was reshot. Because it was similar to Captain Marvel.
I heard that it had a lot of practical effects in it.
It did. So
that's cool.
What happened in the third act that's in the actual movie is dope. Like there is a fight scene at the end on a train that you can see kind of parts in the trailers. And that was done by the stunt choreographer, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. One of the fight choreographers helped with that. And that's cool. It's cool, man.
Right.
I guess some of the criticisms I have is I wish the years went up. So it was First Class 62, and then Days of Future Past was 73. They should have went to 84 in Apocalypse, because that just makes sense.
Yeah.
They didn't. It was 83. And then they should have went to 95, but they wouldn't, because that'd be just another Captain Marvel comparison.
Yeah.
But
at the same time,
they cut a lot of stuff out because of the Captain Marvel movie. I heard the whole third act.
That's what I was saying. The whole third act was reshot, because if you know anything about... If you've seen Captain Marvel or the trailers and you know anything about it, you can kind of figure out what would have happened, I guess. But I didn't mind Dark Phoenix. I thought it was a good entry. If I were in a different... It's one of those movies I think falls in the category of coming out in the wrong year.
Gotcha.
So it was pushed back because of Alita.
Oh, yeah. Battle Angel,
and then, of course, they had to do the reshoots, which is part of every comic book movie that's budgeted in. But I don't know, man. I thought it was all right. The only other criticism is there's no topical
social commentary.
Yeah, like in the 80s one, it was very kind of apparently the 80s, and then in the 70s one, it was very the 70s. They were mutants were out, that's where they filmed them with the camera.
Right.
And then in the First Class there in Cuba. This one, Cuban Missile Crisis, 1962, and because that was a real thing. I was watching it with my son. I'm like, this really happened. They're just putting them in there,
Yeah, they were the crisis.
But we digress.
Yeah, I mean,
we digress.
It was a good movie. I'd give it a thumbs up. But if you're watching them all together, it'd be more fun, I guess.
Which is our other podcast.
I Digress.
Yeah.
The podcast coming soon to a podcast near you.
Yes.
And the only thing I want to say real quick from E3 was Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
Looked amazing.
Oh my God, yes.
And then, of course, the very end, Keanu Reeves.
Of course.
If you haven't seen that trailer, it'll be posted in the notes.
Yes, it
Definitely
will.
check it out. That's all.
Since this week we don't have Billy Bob Thornton's 12-inch dick again.
Ooh,
Well,
give
we
me
had
that 12
not
cock.
again.
Part two. Part two, I mean.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
you were on
we've-
part one, right?
Well, we had to give him a week off.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the other
You can't-
6
you-
inches then?
Well, you can't take all of Billy Bob Thornton 12-inch dick in
Right.
2 weeks in a row.
Right.
Ain't shit right for a week.
Right. Right. Right.
That was on, what was that
I
movie?
mean, the blood loss to
Yeah.
fulfill this.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so let's hit this mixtape. So my number one is Dive from Nirvana on Incesticide. It's a great beginning song to any kind of record that I've ever listened to, and really, that's why I want to start this one out. Number two is Jane Says from Jane's Addiction. Nothing
that song.
shocking. Great song too. Just every time you listen to it, it just mellows you out. Then Lucky Penny by J.D. McPherson on Undivided Heart and Soul. This dude's got some really, really cool tunes. Not a lot of people that I know listen to him, but everybody knows the song because it's on a commercial or something like that, like a Sailor Jerry one or something. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Hipster
Hipster commercial.
Right. Better Man is number 4 by Leon Bridges, and it's off his Coming Home. Really soulful guy. Really, really cool vibe throughout all of his records that I've listened to. Number 5 is Bullet from the Misfits off of Static Age.
Nice.
The
Nice.
I say Static Age box set. It was unreleased for a long time.
Still a great- we've
just
just-
fucking way awesome to listen to.
Great album.
Yeah. Number 6, All Those Yesterdays by Pearl Jam off of Yield. I remember getting the video, and just this one was just because they did a single video theory, and this was one of the songs that like immediately grabbed me after I had that record.
Nice.
Number 7, and this one switches everything up. It's Demon Cleaner by Caius off of Sky
Nice.
Valley. So
Nice.
it goes from all those, yeah, and then to this is like, holy shit, it's gonna kick you in the balls.
That's the best. That's the best when a CD does that. Sorry.
It's gonna hit you right in the schnuts. Number 8 is Power to Love by Jimi Hendrix off of Band of Gypsies. Another great
Not
CD
Huey
out there.
Lewis.
No, not
Huey Lewis.
not the Power to Love.
No,
or
it's the
Power of Love, yeah. And then number
Power of Love.
number 9 is Digging My Grave by personal friends of mine, Hip Bone,
Nice. Shout out
off
to
of
Hip
their
Bone.
self-titled record.
They're the band with 85 and up only.
Yes. Hip Bone,
That's what 85 and up onlys wish they had.
Yeah.
a Hip Bone.
The original, at least.
Number 10, 16 by Iggy Pop off of Lust for Life. And number 11, The Boogie Monster, Gnarls Barkley off of St. Elsewhere. That is a great record too. Any one of those, you can listen to the full record, or if you just listen to these in a row, it's a weird vibe.
Right on.
It sounds pretty cool after you just sit
I'll
and
take
just
that ride.
chill it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a good one.
mixtape.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that wraps it up for our quick cast for this week.
Now, hold on. Did we not name that playlist?
No, I don't have names for
That's
them.
what I do.
Well, we should name it.
Super Mellow Dive.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Roller
But
Coaster
it's got a
Ride.
harsh aftertaste.
Harsh aftertaste. Let's go
Yes.
with that.
All right.
Yeah, harsh aftertaste.
Harsh
Love it.
The harsh aftertaste
Playlist.
mixtape.
Mixtape.
All right. Well, anybody got anything else they want to talk about this week? Well, let's just wrap it up. I'm Brock.
I'm Dan.
I'm Mitch.
And I'm Tyson.
We'll see you next week, guys.
It's a marionette.